Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. In today's video, I want to give you my guide for Deliana. She is this brand new legendary you get for free after logging in for 7 days. The promotion's on at the moment. She's going to be available in shards after the promotion ends. But she is just absolutely incredible. I've been testing her out, and I definitely think for newer players and for mid-game players, this champion is just incredible. Incredible for Spider 20. Level 20 dungeons, Doom Tower, Hydra, pretty much everywhere in the game. She's absolutely fantastic. What we're watching here in the background, I've got a couple of Dragon 20 runs. This run, we've got Bivald of the Thorn. He's in there as well. He's the fragment collector legendary we just had. I also did a run, I'll show you as well, which has no legendaries in it except for Deliana. But you can see this is Dragon 20, and with Deliana in here, we are absolutely just slamming through on this boss and ripping it apart. It's really, really effective. We'll see the stats here in a second. We're going to kill this boss, just about 2 minutes in. Let me pause this, and you can see just some quick stats, quick preview of the sort of thing Deliana is going to be doing for us. I'm going to show you how to do it in today's video. She's actually doing really good damage. I'm laughing. My poor old Galek, he's obviously still in the same gear I had when he was my starter champion. She outdamaged Galek, which is funny. She outdamaged actually everyone except for Frozen Banshee. She also did a ton of healing, and she's tanking up a ton of damage for the team as well. She's just doing so much that is just absolutely insane, and she's going to do some really cool stuff in other dungeons as well. Let's take a look at her kit. Let's see what it is that makes her so good. And actually, guys, note this. I don't have her booked right now. Two reasons. Number one, well, I actually don't have any books left at the moment, so that's the main reason. But number two, I think also, when you start out as a new player, you're not going to have books either. You're not going to be able to book her out. So I want to show you what she can do for you, even without books. She's still exceptionally good. She's super good. So her A1, Heart Stealer. AoE attack, 50% chance of placing a leech debuff for 2 turns. That books to a 60% chance to place a leech debuff for 2 turns. This is actually excellent, right? Spamming out those AoE attacks is going to contribute to... She's not a nuker, right? She's not going to blow people up with her damage, but as you saw from that dragon run, she has very consistent damage, just constantly churning out those AoE attacks, and it adds up to a lot. It adds up to a lot, and the leech debuff is so helpful. Leech, I think, makes you... I actually forgot the exact number off the top of my head. I think it makes you heal for 35% of the damage you deal. Might be 25%, but when we combo this, if you watch my free-to-play series, I have a playlist on the channel. You can find it. It's by far the most popular playlist on the channel, actually, by far. But we talk about how Leech is so good when we put it with Masteries like War Master, right? We talk about that there, but just note that we're obviously going to come back to that as we go in today's video, and we'll show you her masteries in detail as well. But there you go, really good A1. Now her A2, Withering Scorn, 4-turn cooldown, that books to a 3-turn cooldown. Single target attack, 75%, that books to a 100% chance of placing 50% decreased resistance for 2 turns. If the target's under block buffs, it will do debuff spread, and it puts that decreased resistance debuff on all the enemies, right? It's an AoE decreased resistance at that point, which you're always going to want to do. She does block buffs herself on her A3, so she'll A3, then follow it up with her A2 to decrease resistance. This move is actually really good starting out for an earlier player, and I think for an endgame player, it's going to be really useful for something like Hydra. Let's jump over quickly to a blindingly white spreadsheet. Okay, I'm going to link this in the description as well. This is my Deliana guide. But what I wanted to do was to come in and to collate some of the important info in terms of resistance and accuracy. So the way that these stats work, guys, is that if you have equal accuracy to your opponent's resistance, you have a 93% chance to successfully place your debuff. 93% chance. The best possible chance is 97%. There's always a 3% chance that you do not land a debuff. And also, there's always a 3% chance that you do land a debuff, even if they have way more resistance. There's a 3% chance that they succeed or fail, always, right? Going about 20 accuracy, higher than their resistance, is going to give you about 96%. You can go up to like 130 accuracy, I think. Gives you that 97. It starts to get quite diminishing returns. I generally recommend going for at least as much accuracy as the resistance of the stage, and preferably going 20 above is what I would aim for. So for example, for your Demon Lord, right? Going into Clan Boss, Demon Lord Clan Boss, the most important area of the game, because it's your biggest source of shards and books, which you need to progress in this game. On Brutal, he has 100 resistance. On Nightmare, 150. On Ultra Nightmare, 225. Now, the accuracy that you need, 120, 170, or 245. These can be intimidating numbers when you start out the game. It's going to be difficult to build champions with enough accuracy to do this. And you need them to have that accuracy to place their debuffs. It massively increases your effectiveness. Now with Deliana, when she puts decreased resistance on the boss, the requirements go from 120 to 70 for Brutal, from 170 to 95 for Nightmare, and this is a big one, from 245 to 132.5 for Ultra Nightmare, which is insane. This is very doable, very low. You can absolutely reach these numbers quite easily. So this is great. And on top of that, for Demon Lord, she's bringing that leech debuff, so that makes it potentially well worth it for an early game player. This is just absolutely huge. You're going to be able to push further in Demon Lord than you otherwise would. By the way, for other sorts of things, dungeons, 75 resistance on stage 11, 150 stage 16, 220. Why have I picked these 3 stages? I've talked about this in other videos. These 3 stages give you the best return on your energy spent for the gear that you're going to get. So for tournaments, for dungeon diver events, 11, 16, and 20 are the stages to target. They are by far the best, by far the most efficient for what you get for energy spent. You need 95 accuracy for 11, goes down to 57.5 with Deliana, 170 for 16, 95 with Deliana, 220 for stage 20, that's only 120 with Deliana. Makes pushing into those dungeons much easier. Now, I mean, when we come to Hydra, we'll talk more about Hydra later. I don't want to just go through an entire spreadsheet, but for Nightmare Hydra, right, the highest accuracy you could require is 405. So typically you are building your support champions at 400 plus accuracy for Nightmare Hydra. With Deliana, she lowers that requirement unbelievably down to 212.5, which is a big deal. So we'll see. One of my recommendations, we'll come to it later, but for example, I'd recommend still building your support champions with 405, but it means your damage champions like your Royal Guards and your Husks, you can get away with 212 accuracy. You just have Deliana be faster than them. So she will do her block buffs, Royal Guard nukes, then Deliana does decreased resistance, then Royal Guard attempts to place decreased speed, for example. And Doom Tower for normal, 100 resistance. For hard, 330. That's for the top of the tower. Right, the hardest floors, the hardest bosses in Doom Tower. So, you know, floor 90 and above, they've got about 100 resistance on normal. It's quite easy. And then for hard, they got about 330 resistance. So that's actually much more difficult. And again, Deliana makes it so much easier. Frost Spider, this is on normal. Frost Spider, the boss, Sorath, she gives herself a bonus 225 resistance with her Frost Shield on. You need to land a HP burn to remove that. With Deliana, you can make it much easier for your HP burner to land that. Anyway, let's come back here. That's enough spreadsheet. We'll look at the spreadsheet later. Know your placer, A3, AoE attack, 5-turn cooldown bucks to a 4-turn cooldown, 75 bucks to 100% chance to place block buffs on each enemy for 2 turns, and it heals all allies by 5% their max HP for every block buffs debuff placed by this skill. Super useful, really good. It also gives her some turn meter if the block buffs is blocked or resisted. That's not as useful, but it's kind of a nice buff to her speed sometimes. Now her passive though, her passive is super good. The passive part of her passive, weirdly, gives her 2 accuracy for every 1000 HP. Now, I think you're going to be very easily, when you get her to 6-star and you roll her gear up, you're going to easily get her to 50,000 HP. I have her at 70,000, but with 50,000, you're going to get an extra 100 accuracy with 50k HP, 100 bonus accuracy, and that becomes so useful. We jump back to that spreadsheet, right? If we're trying to get into dungeon stage 20, we're going to need Deliana to have, you know, 220 accuracy, preferably, so she can place the decreased resistance. She's going to get 100 accuracy for free just off her passive, pretty much. That's a massive deal. Then the active part of her passive, that's what has the 4-turn cooldown. She puts a strengthen buff on all allies for 2 turns whenever her HP drops below 50% on a 4-turn cooldown. Again, really strong. Difficult to trigger it, but I've got her in a specific gear set to do so, and I'll tell you a couple of tips as well. And then she has a 33% ally HP in all battles aura. So let's see how I built her up. Now, I think the best set for her is probably going to be Guardian. She absorbs 10% of all damage dealt to ally champions, and she heals by 10% every turn. So number one, we're building her with really high health, so she can take this damage. because she's absorbing the damage dealt to our team, she's going to get nuked down a lot more. And that's actually going to help her to trigger this passive. So that's sort of the idea there. So we're really maximizing the damage mitigation that she's bringing to the team by giving them the Guardian protection and then triggering her passive much more consistently. I think this is a good idea. She's got incredible defensive stats, so 20k HP and 1200 defense baseline. So she's actually super tanky and she heals herself by a ton. She does so much self-healing. So it can be difficult to actually trigger the passive. Guardian helps you to trigger that passive. There are other sets that you can use if you're looking for specific sets. I think the two other sets I would highlight, I think in second place, I would give it to Stun. 18% chance to place a stun debuff, right? She attacks every turn, right? Every single active move she has is an attack. And two of those are AoE, including her A1, which she does most often. So she's constantly doing these AoE attacks. So this chance to stun is so good for dungeons, for Doom Tower. Going to be useful in Arena as well. Really, really strong. Now, the better set for her is actually Taunting. I'd give Taunting my first, of the second choices, it would be first place. I think Guardian is best. I think Taunting is a very strong contender as well. Very, very strong. So Taunting, 30% chance to place a Provoke debuff. So compared to Stun, it's a much higher chance. It's much more consistent. Unlike Stun, Stun makes them miss their turn entirely, and it stops them getting a cooldown, like their cooldowns from progressing. Whereas Provoke doesn't. They're going to hit her with an A1. The thing is, her getting hit by an A1 attack is actually fine. She can take the hit. Again, this is replacing Guardian. So by her getting beat up, it's going to trigger her passive more often. She heals herself so much, she can easily take this damage. It's more consistent. And also, very importantly, this one works for Hydra. This works against the Head of Decay in Hydra. It's the newest nerf to the Hydra. Or in fact, it's the only nerf we've had for Hydra, really, was last week. I've got some videos on it already. I think this is incredible. Why do I not have her in Taunting set myself? I simply don't have, as you can see, any Taunting gear left to put on her. You can farm this from Ice Golem. Stun set comes from Fire Knight. So yeah. Okay, I've talked about sets. Now here's the thing though, guys. Here's the important thing. For new players, your stats are more important than your sets. Don't if you go, Nubkeks said the Taunting set's amazing, I'll put her in a Taunting set and she sat there with like 100 speed. That's really, really bad. Okay, guys, the most important things we want accuracy, then we want speed, then we want HP. Okay, those are the most important things. So for accuracy, you want her to have 200 accuracy. Bearing in mind, she's going to get a chunk from her passive. So if we get her to 50k HP, she's only going to need like 100 to 120 accuracy. So it shouldn't be too hard to get her enough accuracy. For speed, 200 plus. For me, I want her to be 230 plus. She's a little bit slow for me, but that's okay because I haven't put glyphs on her. When I put glyphs on her, for me, more sort of going into endgame stuff, she's going to be about 240 plus is what I'm looking for. And then, like I said, HP 50,000 plus. By the time I roll her stuff up, she's going to be above 70k. I have her in a necklace and a ring, which aren't rolled up. I just ran out of silver. So she's going to be 70k plus for me. Now, I also do have her with 100% crit rate. She does really good damage, consistent damage. So giving her that crit rate, if you can, is very useful. I'd not bother really with crit damage, however. And, you know, about 2,000 plus defense is good. I'm aiming for about 2,500 plus defense, which I managed to get with her with this gear. So in terms of the specific pieces, you can see this weapon, it actually has lots of speed, 2 rolls in speed. I've got her with a helmet with 2 rolls at HP percent and some crit rate, some defense percent. Shield, 2 rolls in HP percent, some speed, a little bit of crit rate. I do have her in crit rate gloves. They've got attack percent on them, so these aren't perfect, but they've got 2 rolls in speed. Not glyphed, but that's a lot of speed. I think crit rate gloves are great now. HP percentage gloves are really good as well. That would be my other go-to. The crit rate is kind of a luxury because I got her tanky enough. I felt like 70k HP is going to be plenty. I'd rather get her some crit rate to up her damage a bit. This is optional though. HP percent is your safer bet. It's going to make her tankier and it's going to give her more accuracy, obviously. HP percentage chest, this is sort of ideal. This is pretty rubbish. I just don't have that many spare ones left. But, you know, again, a 6-star one would obviously be better with more speed. And then I have her obviously in speed boots with some HP percent on them. The secondary set, by the way, is perception. Gives her some accuracy and some speed. So this is really, really good. I have my Deliana. She's going to be 300 accuracy baseline. Then she's going to get over 100 from her HP. So she's going to be over 400 accuracy, which we go to that spreadsheet. 400 accuracy. That is more than she needs right now for Nightmare Hydra. So my Deliana, she's sort of future-proofed even. She's probably going to be good for Ultra Nightmare Hydra, maybe, when they release it. We'll see. For her rings, HP ring with HP percent is what you want. Probably a HP necklace with some accuracy if you can get it. Crit damage necklace can work as well, or defense necklace can work too. It's quite flexible. Really looking for accuracy on it would be the main thing. And then an accuracy banner. I've gone for one with lots of speed. By the way, these counterattack accessories are incredibly good on her. I only have the one that I can put on her, but it's super, super good. So there you go. That is how you were looking to build her. Yeah, just have her fast, have her with enough accuracy, and then lots of HP. Then when you've got some bonus stuff that you can invest, decent defense is good, and then bump up her crit rate. It's going to be really good too. Now, for her masteries, I'm pretty sure these are the masteries I'd run pretty much at any point in the game for every sort of content. So we're going to go down the left-hand side of the offense tree for War Master. This is going to do so much damage to bosses. She has all these AoE attacks. She's going to keep proccing War Master in AoE. This is pretty much the way to go for her, 100%, in my opinion. Everything she does is an attack, and half of it, more than half of it, is AoE. So War Master, pretty much 100% for me. I've got her Life Drinker then to heal a bit when she goes below half HP. So with that Guardian set, she's going to be able to heal herself back up and get good value when she pops that strengthen buff on herself. Then we're going down the left-hand side of the support tree. Pretty straightforward, just more accuracy, more accuracy, more accuracy. You know, some healing whenever an enemy is killed for even more healing. Turn meter when her debuffs expire. She places lots of debuffs. We're going to get her Lore of Steel for just some more base stats. Not that important, but you can grab it. This is going to be really good if you have her in like 3 perception sets or some accuracy, some speed sets, just more basic sets that are still extremely good. This is going to be even better. With me, with 1 perception set, I'm still happy enough with it. Then Evil Eye, doing a bit of turn meter depletion when she hits enemies with her A1. This is really good for all those dungeons and Doom Tower. Obviously useless for Hydra. For Hydra, you could put her with Cycle of Magic inside if that's the only if that's the only place you use her. But I think for general usage as an earlier mid-game player, Evil Eye is the way to go. Sniper, better chance to place her debuffs. This is extra good when we don't have her booked out. When she is booked out, it's just going to make her A1 leech more consistent. And then Master Hexer, chance to extend her debuffs, which is just super. Just super. So there we go. Let's go see her in some action. So the first place I want to show you, this is really special. Spider Dungeon, you guys will know, is extremely, extremely hard when you first go in. So I put together here, this is inspired by Cold Brew Gaming, who was testing this out. What we've got happening here is a very specific thing. So let me show this to you. Let's jump over here to my spreadsheet for a second. So for stage 20, obviously our team needs this much accuracy. That's not too bad. Now, the big thing is that the Spiderlings, to place their poisons, they have 200 accuracy. So for us to resist those Spiderlings, we want 300 resistance. We preferably have 350 to give us the best chance, but 300 is a pretty good number to reach, and it's going to be obviously hard to build someone with that much resistance. Now, if we can put decrease accuracy in the Spiderlings, then we only need 200 to 250 resistance, which is much, much more doable. So we can see we come in here. My Deliana has 194 resistance right now. So she's a tiny bit short, but you're going to see this works just great. I'm actually going to turn off her A2. I want her just spamming these AoE attacks. You're going to see how much she heals herself with these leeches and with her A3. Wait till you see this. I've got Armiger coming in. He's only this fast, and he's just going to be depleting the turn meter and doing some max HP damage to the spider. Sylar going to be doing decreased speed, pushing turn meter back. Now, she's actually super fast. So this is my attempted sort of free-to-play team with the champions. My champions are obviously going to be in much better gear than you guys have, but you'll see the concept. And then she has that 100% chance of decreased accuracy AoE. So pushing the turn meter back, decrease accuracy, and I have her, actually, I don't think, I used to have her in a stun set, but you put her in a stun set and she can stun the Spiderlings as well. Stagnite, he can place decreased speed, AoE decreased defense, decreased attack. Going to be very useful to lock down, to help up our damage on the spiders and reduce the direct damage they do. Then a level 50, he's only level 50, 5-star apothecary. You can't see, but you'll see in game. He has that increased speed buff and he's a single target heal. And again, I just have him running fast, and that's really all that he needs. Let me actually show you this so I can speed it up double time. Here we go, Spider 20. We click in. There we go. We should be double time here. So here we go. Wait till you see this run, guys. It's absolutely insane. Now, the theory here, if you look at the affinity of the enemies, the Spiderlings and the spider, they are green affinity. What does that mean? They will always attack Deliana because she is red affinity. So long as we don't bring in any other red affinity enemies, they're always going to hit her because they see her as an easy target. And obviously she is not. So watch this. Look at the resistance popping up on her. Whenever she's being hit by these spiderlings, she's that really good chance to resist. And obviously Sylar with the decreased accuracy is helping that. I'll show you other options for decreased accuracy as well. If you don't have decreased accuracy, you will need to get her up to like 300 resistance. But look at this. She can just tank these spiderlings like crazy. The poisons aren't going on her that much. And look how much healing. Look at those healing numbers every time she attacks. That is because she is placing leech. So whenever she hits people with leech, she heals a ton. Her A3 heals everyone a ton because every block buff she places on every spiderling heals you for tons. And she's just spamming through. And look at this, like her health just doesn't go down, guys. She just heals herself for so much. With you, she's going to take more damage, right? Because she's not going to, I mean, mine is almost 230 speed. Your Deliana might be like, 180 or something when you start out. So it's going to be harder. But as you get her that bonus speed, she's just going to heal herself so much. One thing with this run, because Deliana has so much crit rate, you can see we're actually killing the spiderlings a lot, which does sort of reduce the damage taken because it resets their turn meter. That's not too important though. And it sort of makes the decreased accuracy not work so well. But if you don't have her with a crit rate, it doesn't matter. The main thing that's healing her is the War Master procs with her Mastery. Putting leech on enemies and then proccing War Master, that's what gives her the healing. And then obviously her A3 is going to full heal her whenever it goes out. Like the healing from her A3 is just absolutely nuts. Well, it doesn't full heal her, but it's going to do a huge heal. And here we go. We see it's not a fast run. Right? This is going to be like a 4-minute run. But there we go. Bam. We get through. Look at that. And these are the stats here. The end of that spider 20. 4-minute run, so it's slow. Look at Deliana's damage and look at that healing, more importantly, and look at the damage taken. So no one else takes damage. She is the spiderling tank because of her affinity. And then we just have her spamming her A3 and her A1, and with the leech, with the War Master, she's just healing herself for so much with all those AoE attacks. Then we've got Armiger reducing the turn meter, Sylar decreased speed and turn meter, decreased accuracy as well. Stag Knight doing the same sort of thing. And again, guys, we look at their stats, and you can see like Armiger stats, really nothing crazy, very simple. Sylar is obviously super fast. Stag Knight is very fast as well. So is Apothecary. So you can still do this though with worse champs. Now you obviously throw with worse gear. You throw in a Cold Heart, something super OP for Spider, and it's going to get much easier. Or an AoE HP burn is going to be much easier. And honestly, for you to reach the required resistance, definitely drop that crit rate off. Forget about the crit rate. Her sets don't matter so much then. Put her in like a resistance chest, resistance banner when you get one, and you'll easily push that resistance up higher and becomes much more doable. So it's a super exciting way, right? This is a super exciting way for you to be able to do Spider 20. I think it's absolutely incredible. When we come to Dragon, this is the team I put together for Dragon. I'll show you this one as well. We obviously saw the run with Bivald instead of Apothecary, I think. Yeah, at the start of the video. But we got Deliana in. We're just going to let her do whatever she wants. War Maiden for that decreased defense. You can see her stats. Really nothing special. 190 speed. We've got Galek, my starter champion. This was his starter gear. It's pretty pants, to be honest. He's going to come in for some AoE damage. Frozen Banshee. Again, nothing too special going on here. One thing with Galek, Deliana is going to reduce the resistance, actually allow Galek to land his debuffs. Otherwise, he wouldn't on Spider 20. Dragon 20 just wouldn't work. Frozen Banshee, going to be putting poison sensitivity and poisoning, so she'll kill the dragon for us. And then Apothecary, again, only level 50, giving us some speed, some heals. You'll see that he's kind of so squishy that it doesn't quite work. We come in here to Dragon 20 V2, and here we go. So this is Dragon 20 with all these rares. I'm actually showing you their stats here at the start. Whoops. Hang on, let's go in. So here we go. Into the run. Boom. Deliana blocking all their buffs, which is fantastic. Look at that. Their Apothecary tries to give them increased speed, and it's blocked. So you can see my my poor Apothecary here. He's quite squishy, and we don't have any stuns or provokes or anything for this wave. So we did this run at the start with Bivald instead, and Bivald was doing the AoE provokes and giving us some shields and some healing and stuff. So with the Bivald run, it's much cleaner. You can see right here, Apothecary, he does get taken down, but you can see we're ripping through these waves nonetheless. If you want to make this better, you could put in like obviously a level 60 apothecary would help. You could put in like a level 60 reliquary tender instead of collect, would make it much better. And here we can see we've got the decreased resistance on, so we're landing all of our debuffs no problem. We're smacking the boss, we're doing some damage. And you can see Deliana, she's protecting our team with that guardian set, helping them stay alive. She's doing some healing. You can see they're healing themselves a bit with the leech debuff. It gets a little bit sketchy here at the end, as you can see. Like, okay, she's down as well. But look at Deliana's just full health, guys. Did you see that at the end? Deliana, we get to the end of the boss, like, she's just full health. She's healing herself for so much. The boss just can't do anything. When we check out these stats at the end, it's just incredible, I think. Deliana, just so much damage with just those AoE spamming skills and so much healing. She's just healing so much. She's insanely good. Insanely good. Apothecary, he died early, obviously, unfortunately. But we slammed through Dragon 20, 2 minutes again. Obviously with Bivald or some other AoE provoker, it's going to be more consistent. Sill of the Drakes, and this is easy, right? You get Sill of the Drakes 6 months in, and you're just smashing through. Really no stress. Galek, he's there for AoE damage, but his damage is terrible. He's pants, right? You could put something better in. Frozen Banshee with the poisons really rips through the boss. War Maiden, decreased defense, you know. So just to give you those ideas for what she can do, I think she's insane. Like, this is so good. So good for these dungeons. And she's going to do the same thing in Ice Golem. She's going to do the same sort of thing in Fire Knight. You're going to need sort of different teams for that, obviously, but she's going to be amazing. She's probably amazing for Minotaur. I don't know. Let me see. Actually, let's real quick test this out. How does she do in campaign? Just out of curiosity. I actually didn't test this. This is live testing. She's got an aura, which is nice. You know, the aura stops it bringing up error messages. And I mean, she can weak hit these guys here, but she's going to kill them. She's going to get through. I guess will she do her A2? If she does her A2, it's kind of bad. Look at that. Just spamming her A1. So, look, I mean, for campaign, she's not doing it super quickly. She can weak hit on this stage because they're the wrong affinity. But, I mean, she's going to rip through with no danger. So, when you're coming through for Nightmare campaign, when you're doing your Nightmare campaign for the first time, and you get to, what's a really difficult one? I think Valdemar Strait. We get into Valdemar Strait, and you've got all these red affinity enemies. That's quite sketchy. You put her in with like a Sill of the Drakes or something like that, and you're going to absolutely blast through, like, no problem. Now, I mean, let's throw in like a quick combo. I did this with Sill and Tyrell before. Let's put in Deliana. I think this should work. Let's test this out. Again, live testing. But yeah, with Sill of the Drakes landing stuns, we might need someone else with different affinity, just because I think Deliana's so good. Like, Bivald would be absolute god tier for this. I'm just a little bit worried about Sill, but probably not too worried. But with the stuns and Deliana just doing that consistent AoE damage, like her A1 animation super cool as well, right? She's just ripping through. And look at this, like they're just gonna tear through. Pretty much no problem here. Sill lands some stuns. Deliana just spamming the A1s, landing the leeches so we can heal more. Deliana should do her A3 and top up Sill in a second. There we go. Sill's topped up. And yeah, like really no problem. Like Nightmare campaign, it's just going to flop over with Deliana in here. Like she's just so strong. She's just so strong. You can see Sill's getting nuked quite a bit here. That's a little bit scary for sure. Deliana, boom. Big heal. Sill's back to full. Beautiful. Sill obviously is doing a ton of healing as well. We'll see who out-healed the other when we get at the end. Obviously, Sill's healing with a leech debuff is going to, that Deliana's placing counts as healing for Sill. But it's just kind of nuts, right? Bam. 1 minute. Actually, twice as fast when I initially did it. And there we go. Look at this. Deliana, tons of damage, tons of healing. Just incredible, right? So good. She's so good. Okay, she's so good. Right, final thing I want to talk about then is Hydra. So obviously, as you've seen from the showcase so far, my gear is going to be much better than someone that started out the game. So what I did was I said, okay, for normal Hydra, we're looking for that 6.6 million. For hard Hydra is so much harder, 20.4. So what I wanted to do was to put together in this video a free-to-play team for someone pushing for their first 6.66 million chest, the top chest in normal Hydra. What does Deliana do for you? So in order to compensate for my gear being much better, I said I would do it on hard Hydra. So that's what I've done. We're going into Hydra hard with this team. Let me actually show you the team actually, hang on, let's go into the run and let me show you the team. So what team do we have here? I'll show it to you right here. In game, it's probably the better thing. This is the team I've put together. So we got Deliana in the lead doing her thing, which is going to be great. So fantastic. She's in the lead, giving us the HP aura. We've got Jizzo. I did a whole video on Jizzo at the weekend. 2-week login champion, and he's fantastic because he has a 2-turn provoke. So good for stopping Head of Decay cleansing the team. He can also put shield and counterattack on an ally. We're going to use that with Drexstar. This is exactly what I did in that video. You can see my Drexstar, he's built with really high resistance. So with Drexstar, Jizzo puts the shield and counterattack on Drexstar, and then Drexstar tanks the Head of Mischief. And because he has so much resistance, Head of Mischief can't steal his debuff. So all Drexstar needs is some reasonable defenses and lots of resistance. He can also be a resistance tank, by the way, for Spider 20. Lots of resistance. And basically, whenever he's hit, he's also unbooked. He can be placing those HP burns. He gives us as well a supplemental provoke. Again, he's unbooked, so it's a long cooldown, 4 turns, better when it's booked. But it's a 100% chance to provoke if the enemy's under HP burn. So if he was booked out, he'd be way better, but it's just such a good combo. Got Haikatoon in there then. Haikatoon, she's going to give us some speed and turn meter. She can place decreased speed potentially as well. She's really not in anything special gear-wise. Duck the Pierced, did a guide on him recently. He's going to come in, give us decreased attack, decreased defense AoE, decrease accuracy, single target, and then even a supplemental provoke here as well. Seal of the Drakes, she's coming in again for some healing. She's going to give us a revive. She can play some decreased speed, so she's not too bad. I would say in this particular comp, if you had, which you may have, I think she was a login reward though before, but if you're sort of mid-game, if you've been playing for a few months, like 3 or 4 months, you might have Rector Drath, because she was previously a free champion you got when you signed up to the game. She gives you the AoE heal with a perfect veil to protect you from the Head of Torment, the Fearing Head, which we just have to deal with, and she gives you again a revive. So she'd be super good as an alternative to Syl. She'd be much better than Syl in this composition. But let me show you this in action. So we're coming through here, and you can see Jizzo, he puts the buffs on Drexstar, so now Drexstar should be tanking. Jizzo has provoked the Head of Decay, and as you can see, we're really struggling with these fears. That's going to be a big problem. Deliana's put block buffs up on some of these heads, which is nice, but you can see Deliana's really going to struggle with the fear head. If you don't have some way to remove these fears, or a perfect veil to stop them going on, it does punish Deliana actually quite a bit, so that's sort of a bit of a problem right here. But you're going to see, we're just going to try to deal with these fears as much as we can. Just try to avoid hitting the Head of Torment, Head of Torment directly, because that's what puts those fears on you. And yeah, with Deliana, she's just doing her thing, basically. Just leave her do her stuff. There's not much you can do. She's going to miss half her turns because she's going to be feared anyway. There's not much you can do. Just try to have her do her thing, basically. And we're going to be trying to just chain our provokes. You can see there we have the AoE provoke from Drexstar to provoke Head of Decay, trying to keep Head of Decay locked out to stop him doing his moves. Drexstar is going to be tanking the Head of Mischief quite a bit. You can see right there the buffs fell off. So Head of Mischief, he is gonna steal our buffs every now and then. We're just gonna try to mitigate that as much as possible, mitigate the cleanses as much as possible from Head of Decay. They're gonna happen sometimes. Buffs are gonna get stolen sometimes. So we're just gonna try to limit those things and let the HP burn from Drexstar do its work. Again, I think if you have Rector Drath in there instead of Syl, you're gonna get way more turns. You're not gonna get these fears that we have to deal with. And especially for Deliana, she's going to be able to attack a lot more. And you saw on the dungeon runs how much damage she's pumping out consistently, like in Dragon. So she'd be doing the same thing here against the Hydra and getting those leeches out more consistently, all the rest. Trying to hit a target that has the block buffs on, so we spread the decreased resistance where possible. And this is where obviously we run into a little bit of a tricky situation, which is when Mischief eats one of our champions. That's definitely a pain in the butt. We're just gonna have to try deal with it, try to hit Mischief as much as we can, and the HP burns will do a good chunk of the work as well. So you can see the fears are really being a pain in the butt, but we are going to get through. So here we go. Again, unfortunately, he misses this, so I think we do get a taunt this time around. By the way, with the Haikatoon, trying to land that single target decreased speed. No, we got the taunt out. Trying to land the single target decreased speed on Decay as much as possible. It's going to help Jizzo and Drexstar get back to their moves, especially when Drexstar's unbooked. And you can see right here, one of the issues we did run into, and I think I should have done it a bit differently. I think with Duck, I should have been trying to put the decreased accuracy on the Head of Decay. That was something I noticed as I was doing the run, and I kind of realized, this is a problem, because you can see he is putting that heal reduction on my team, which can be really, really painful. Heal reduction, because I've got no way to get rid of it with this team, and it just stops people from healing. So Deliana now, she's going to die because she's got heal reduction on. She can't heal herself anymore. All the healing, you see the numbers attempting to heal her, and it's a bunch of zeros. So that's obviously a bit of a problem. actually putting the decreased accuracy with Dux A1 on Decay would prevent that happening a good bit more and keep us a lot safer. So that's just something to watch out for. And obviously it's going to be much easier to do that on normal, but hard sort of compensates for my Great Hall and gear and stuff like that. But there you go. So we're coming through here, and you sort of get the idea. You can see how the run goes. You can see we're actually going to slam on through here. We actually killed Torment. Once Torment dies, by the way, it's so much easier. And then for me, it's actually the Head of Wrath came in, and you can see we're at 6 million right now. And yeah, at this point, now Deliana starts to be able to do a lot more when Torment is gone because she's not being feared. And we're doing the same sort of thing, just provoking Decay, trying to have Drexar Mischief tank. And yeah, as you can see right here, we're coming up to that 6.6 million. So this is on hard, and we're going to get that 6.6 million. I think I actually got, you can see what happened to me was that now Syl started getting the decrease or the heal reduction because I wasn't able to kill Decay fast enough. So Syl actually does go, she does die here because she just couldn't heal her. We couldn't heal her. We couldn't top her up. But here we go. We smash on through. We take down Decay, and yeah, then Decay respawns. And at this point, I think I got about this far. I got to about 8.6 million. And then I was at the point where Decay was going to get a cleanse off and Wrath was going to potentially kill us. So I just cancelled out. But I got 8.6 million on attempt number 1 here on hard with these teams, with this team. Deliana in this situation, what was she doing for us? She was giving us some sorts of block buffs. I honestly felt though that without a way to deal with Torment, it really cripples her. So you're going to want, with an Inquisitor Shamael, she's going to be God tier, like God tier. With Inquisitor Shamael. Super good. He's going to give her tons of turn meter. He's going to be spamming like crazy. God tier with Inquisitor Shamael. Without Shamael, she's still good. The HP aura is great. The strengthen she procs when she drops low is great. The block buffs is a nice supplement. But yeah, you kind of want like Rector Drath or something to try to protect her a little bit more. Just from the fears, because that really does cripple her usefulness. But you can see we got to like 8.6, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to cancel out because this is getting a bit scary. So I cancelled out at that point. 8.7 is what we got to. But 8.7 on hard, not bad. I certainly think we put this team with earlier game gear into normal, and you're slamming through. Guys, listen, this has been an absolutely big video. Tons to cover in here. Deliana is just that good for me. I rate her so highly everywhere, and I think especially for early game. I'm amazed. There's 3,000 people that have rated her already. I don't know how 3,000 people are like, yes, I'm 100% confident this is how good she is. I think she's 5 stars for campaign, 5-star for Spider 20, absolutely God tier. Hydra. Let's show her in Arena really quickly. I think Arena, she's going to be good early game, not so good late game. I mean, this is sort of an early game-ish team, so let me throw her in to, I think in just like, okay, here's 2 sorts of teams. Do I want to, okay, let's do this one first. So in like a tanky sort of team, I was a little bit cheeky here. I put in Mithrala as my cleanser. That's a bit cheeky, but I think she's good in the lead. And like just with sort of tanky champions like Godseeker, who can revive and heal us, and Sandlash, who can keep us alive with their passive. So actually, let's put that up against a faster team. There's not many. I mean, we might just die. I mean, let's try it out. We might just die. I'm not convinced that she's going to be super good in Arena. We might do some showcases of her later on if we need to, though. So let's go into this team. Let's see what happens, right? Let's just see what happens. So here we go. So they will go first. Arbiter boosts. We're going to get stripped here. Trunda nukes, and we're actually, yeah, Deliana just died. Now, she gave us the strengthen before she died, so I mean, that was kind of nice, though not super duper useful. I'm not sure why she didn't, I guess she revived and got killed again. I'm not actually 100% sure. I'm going to cleanse these debuffs. He's going to do some annoying things. We're going to res up Deliana. Okay. She's going to steal some stuff, which sucks. We're going to attempt to strip off some buffs with Sky-Touched, with Sandlashed. Sandlash Shaman. Poor old Deliana is going to go down again. So we're having a real rough time here. A really rough time. We can hit here. Maybe that was a mistake. Maybe I should have increased. Yeah, I probably should have given us increased defense. I was trying to get the hexes onto everyone as some chance to survive. But I mean, this is a nasty team. I mean, this is a Rotos and a Trunda. This is about as nasty as you can get. So it sort of almost sort of worked, but not quite. It almost, but not quite sort of worked. There we go. We got the Petrify out. We get another Petrify. So will we get hard carried here by, bam, kill her. Good. By Mithrala, we might. Another Petrify. Lovely. I am going to give me the strengthen here. Try keep us alive. Going to smack the Rotos as well. He's going to counterattack. Decrease defense. That's okay. Put some poisons on him. Kill him off. Arbiter might have the revive. She's going to strip some buffs. Arbiter no revive yet. That's good. Here we go. debuff them again. So we might actually get through this. Mithrala doing her thing. Oh, flip. Arbiter just got all of her stuff off. That's not so good at all. Do I want to do this? This might be a terrible idea. Let's do it. Let's revive Deliana. We want to see her. She's dead, but she got picked back up. Oh, she's going to die now. Our Roto is going to pop off. So we just didn't quite have enough to get through. Or did we? Deliana. Boom. Not a bad heal. Not amazing. And oh, look at that. She only placed, because she's not booked, she only placed it on one target. So that's not super good. That A1, though, that kind of smacked hard. The counter attack. I'll take that. I'll certainly take that. The ally protection doing some work to help us stay in this. Gonna smack Rotos once, trying to get him down. Deliana, do a counter attack. She didn't. Oof. All right, we're screwed now. We're screwed now. We got taken down. We put up a fight though. We put up a fight. Deliana, she got kind of smacked down with that Guardian set. I mean, it's tough against Trunda and Rotos. They have a ton of damage. If we go against, do we have a weaker team here? That's sort of a similar idea. That's a super tanky team. This is a weaker team. That's a similar idea. Let's take out Mithrala to make it a bit more fair. Do they have any? They don't have that many debuffs. Let's put in someone that's going to potentially cleanse, though. Let's put in like let's put in a Sky-Touch Shaman. Let's try this. Let's see if it full auto. Just see her in some arena. So again, this is more early mid game. The thing about Deliana that I'm not super convinced on for that sort of late game is that for her to place the decreased resistance, she needs to take 2 turns, right? She needs to do the block buffs first. There she goes with the strengthen. That's actually super good. And look at that. Like with Sandlashed and with her, there's actually a really good combo. That actually works really nice. So what's happening? You can see Deliana's damage. Let's try it against this team. So obviously Madame Ceres makes it somewhat difficult, but this is a really early team. But whenever Deliana drops below half health, Sandlash cleanses. She strengthens everyone, and Sandlash gives them all ally protection. So it ends up being super good. And we just sort of slam through, boom, and Deliana finishes them off. So against these easier teams, yeah, she's absolutely great. She's in 77k. So she's really good in that situation. It's interesting. It's certainly interesting. Certainly interesting. But yeah, she sort of needs to take the 2 turns, right? She does the block buffs attack, which is good, and then she does the AoE decrease resistance. But the decrease resistance, not doing too much for us here. What she is doing well, she does proc the strengthen, which is good. The block buffs can be very useful. And then her A1 can do some pretty decent damage. So I think this sort of build works pretty well. And it's a very good combo, like I said, with Sandlashed. So whenever someone drops below half health, if it's Deliana, ally protection and strengthen on everyone, which is actually quite nice. Sky touched in here. She's coming in to cleanse. And then Godseeker for some revives. Let's try it against this team as well. So I think, early game, mid game, you're trying to build up your tag arena. I think she's really good for that, actually. Block buffs goes out, gets most of the enemy. That's really nice. Block buffs on most of them. That's cool. The decreased resistance is going to be somewhat helpful. She's just, yeah, there we go. Decreased resistance. She did it on the wrong person, or else, no, she just, because she's not booked, she just didn't land it, unfortunately. But we're tanking through now. Obviously, I've got much better gear than these guys do. So that's going to make it easier for sure. But yeah, like you can see here that this team, it tanks through pretty well. We get lots of healing from Sky-Touch Shaman. Deliana doing lots of healing. The leeches are good. It's kind of nifty. It's not bad by any means. Mithrala is obviously going to be much better than Sky-Touch in this situation. But I just want to do like an all epic sort of team. Well, plus Deliana. But yeah, it works. It works. It's not bad. It's not bad. And with more counterattack accessories, she's going to be even better. There we go. I want to see their stats at the end of this one. This is quite a long one. I assume Sky-Touch is going to do the most healing, but Deliana should do a decent chunk as well. Obviously, the damage that we do with Sandlashed and with Godseeker would be a lot higher if we had the increased defense from Mithrala, because they are defense-based damage dealers. Nice thing about Deliana, she does her full damage regardless. So, like, this works. This is actually working pretty great. So, here we go. Poor old Syl the Drake. So, you just got to take her down right now, and she should go down relatively quickly. Here we go. Any minute now. We've got block debuffs on from Sky-Touch, so nothing they can do. Boom, we smashed through. Actually, Deliana, absolutely slamming it. That's more damage than I thought. That's more than I thought. 286. That's actually really good. That's actually really good. Okay, that is not bad. Not bad at all. And then she can work sort of well, I think, in a, like if I take my traditional speed team, do I have one set up? No. If I take my speed team, okay, I don't know. This is like 2 endgame, isn't it? Would she be any good for this? Like, she can block their buffs and stuff, which is sort of useful. Sort of. Like, if I take out Romantu and I put in... Deliana's in this situation going to be too slow. I can put her in, I guess. And you want her to be in the second position as well. I don't know. In a speed team, she's going to be okay. She's not really built for this on my account, but... I mean, we should just kill them. We should just kill them. But she should block the buffs from... oh, never mind. She got her buffs out anyway. But she'll block a good bit of the ally protection and stuff. So, like, she blocked the ally protection on those, which is kind of cool. There we go. And she's going to help the team stay alive a little bit. So that's also kind of cool. And then Seeker comes in and nukes. Deliana's doing her A1. Okay, we should kill her now at this point. Here we go. When Foley gets a turn, she should die. Bam, there we go. Foley rips her apart. So, I don't know. Maybe in a speed team. She'd need to be faster, though, to place the block. And she'd need to be booked. I feel like end games or speed teams. I don't know. But that mid game, yeah, she's great. Guys, thank you for watching. Oh my god, this is way too long, this video. But there's so much info in here. I hope you enjoyed it. Thumbs up if you did. Especially because it's that long. But thank you for watching. Deliana is amazing. Hopefully this in-depth guide helped. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.